The United States calls them depraved monsters. Eswatini calls them securely accommodated. And the price tag for this entire deal is 5.1 million US dollars. But at what cost? And as an African, I do have to ask, when did African soil become a dumping ground for America's immigration problems? Now, buckle up because the story is bigger than Eswatini. Now, today we look at a story that has left many Africans stunned and, quite frankly, disappointed. Eswatini, Africa's last absolute monarchy, has officially admitted that it received $5.1 million from Trump administration in exchange for accepting deportees from United States. Now, this is not a rumor, right? This is not a speculation. This was confirmed in Eswatini's parliament. The finance minister was questioned about mysterious funds appearing in the country's accounts. And under pressure, he finally acknowledged that, yes, the money came from the US and yes, it was from accepting the deportees. And no, the ministry was not informed in advance. Now, let that sink in. Let's watch.
What we're seeing the US doing is something that Europe has also been doing for the last decade, really, which is trying to export what it sees as a migration problem, to try to make certain people and issues go away by sending them particularly to poorer countries. So Europe has made deals with Turkey, Europe has made deals with Rwanda in the past. The UK tried to do this and was blocked on human rights grounds. But under the Trump administration, we're seeing the US doing this. Before, they were connected to Mexico, trying to pay Mexico to do their work. And now what we're seeing is the US trying to dump its unwanted immigrants at various points across Africa. So Eswatini is just one of many who are taking payments from the United States to do this work.
All right. Is it illegal or just unethical?
I think it depends a little bit on the jurisdictional authorities, right? So what's legal in one country, in Rwanda, for example, they have made this legal, as far as I understand.
Now, the Human Rights Watch obtained a copy of the agreement showing that Eswatini agreed to accept up to 160 deportees in exchange for the money allegedly meant for border and migration management capacities. And so far, 2 batches have already arrived, 5 in July and 10 in October. And these deportees came from 5 different countries: Jamaica, Cuba, Laos, Vietnam, Yemen, and not a single one of them is Swati. Not even one. And yet they are being held in Eswatini's facilities awaiting to be sent back to their actual home countries. Now, Eswatini insists that they pose no threat to the public, saying that the deportees are securely accommodated. Meanwhile, the US described some of them as, and these were their words, depraved monsters. Now, whether that label is fair or not is a separate debate. But what matters is, if America says that these people are dangerous, then why send them to a small African country with limited resources? And South Africa, understandably, is on high alert because the border between South Africa and Eswatini is notoriously quite close, and people cross daily for work, trade, family, you name it, right? So when news broke that America had dumped foreign deportees, some with quite dangerous and serious criminal backgrounds in Eswatini, South Africa was alarmed, and rightfully so, because even if one deportee escapes, where are they likely to go? Across the border into South Africa, yes. And we already carry the weight of regional migration as it is. We already handle the pressure of open borders. Now we must also deal with America outsourcing its immigration headaches. It's outrageous, if you ask me. Eswatini's acting government spokeswoman tried to calm the waters. She insists that the US is funding welfare and temporary accommodation and repatriation costs, and that everything is transparent. But here's the problem. Even Eswatini's own agencies didn't know what the money was for. The National Disaster Management Agency, which is the body that received the funds, was instructed not to use it because the money had not been properly allocated. Meaning, this was done fast, quietly, and without full legal processes, right? Now, civil society organizations and human rights lawyers in Eswatini have already taken the government to court, arguing that the deal is unconstitutional, and honestly, they have a point. It is quite heartbreaking to watch African leaders sell out their people and their sovereignty for a check. $5 million. That's the price they put on the dignity of their country. And this is not new in Africa. This is what happens when leaders prioritize personal relationships with Western powers over the safety and pride of their own people. The United States would never accept deportees from Africa in exchange for money. We know that. Europe would never accept foreign offenders from Asia for a capacity building grant. But Africa, to them, Africa is still the continent where you can offload your problems as long as you attach a budget line. And as Africans, we must stop pretending this is diplomacy. This is not diplomacy. This is transactional exploitation. And when African leaders participate in the they become part of the problem. And let's be honest for a minute. Does the ordinary Swati citizen benefit? No. Are borders safer? No. Is the region more secure? Absolutely not. Does this money improve Eswatini schools, hospitals, and infrastructure? No. So who benefits? Those in power. It's quite simple, those who can quietly negotiate deals with foreign governments without public oversight, those who can turn a blind eye to consequences. The people of Eswatini did not sign for this agreement, and they're the ones who will carry the risk. Now, this deal reminds us of a painful truth, that African sovereignty is still fragile. It is too easily traded, too easily influenced, and too easily violated. And America, especially under the Trump administration, was very clear in its approach that if a country is poor enough, desperate enough, or politically isolated enough, they can be convinced to take in deportees the US no longer wants to deal with. Eswatini took the bait, but that does not mean that the rest of Africa must stay silent. As Africans, we deserve leaders who defend the continent's dignity and not ones who allow foreign powers to use African soil as a storage site for unwanted deportees. Eswatini is a small nation with limited influence, yes, but its decision impact the whole region, especially South Africa. Now, this controversy is far from over. Courts are involved. Civil society is rising. Regional security is at stake. And most importantly, the future of African political independence is being tested. Because the real question is, what is the value of African sovereignty if it can be bought? Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. I want to hear what your thoughts are. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. My name is Naledi Mfoloe, reporting live in Johannesburg, South Africa.